What's up, YouTube? Capital G talking about Stefan Bizzle's top 8 deck from YCS Indy. It's Chaos Dragons. You know what? Chaos Dragons was a deck I thought was going to completely evaporate, but it is a lot more resilient than I gave it credit for. When you look at the core of the deck, it still has a bunch of big beaters. I mean, yes, it lost Red Eyes, but you still got 3 Light Pulsars. You still have Dark Arm Dragon. You still have multiple Dark Flares. You have the single Red Eyes. You have BLS, Chaos Sorcerer. You can drop huge Tragodias and Gores. I mean, like, half of the deck is monsters that are like 2,400 and up. You know what I mean? So putting those cards on the board in a continuous stream can be a problem for a lot of decks, especially when the deck has spell and trap removal out the ass with, all the other monsters you're going to normal summon, like Lila and then Raikou flip summoning and stuff like that. Alright, deck list time. 3 copies of Light Pulsar Dragon, 3 copies of Dark Fairy Dragon, 1 copy of Red Eyes Metal Darkness Dragon because it's limited now, 1 Dark Arm Dragon, 1 Eclipse Wyvern, 3 Raikous, 3 Lilas, 2 copies of Card Trooper, 1 BLS, 1 Chaos Sorcerer. He's got the Tour Guide engine of 2 Tour Guides, a Sangan, and a Night Assailant. He's got Gores, 2 copies of Tragodia, 2 Max C, 2 Effect Veilers, and 1 Dimensional Alchemist. 3 copies of Solar Recharge, 2 copies of Mystical Space Typhoon, 1 Dark Hole, 1 Monster Born, 1 Heavy Storm, a Lure of Darkness, and Charge of the Light Brigade. There are no traps in this deck. Okay, so this is a deck that doesn't really have many problems with Thunder King in my personal opinion, because you've got Raikou to answer that. You've got Card Trooper, which can ram into it. You've got cards like Tragodia and Gores that you can summon it and just straight get over it. And again, it's like the deck still has at its core what it did last format. It can't OTK as much as it could last format because it doesn't have 2 Red Eyes, but Light Pulsar is still a bastard of a card to deal with. I mean, outside of it getting bottomless or deprisoned, lots of people in this format are playing multiple Torrentials. Everybody seems to be very high on Mirror Force right now. Light Pulsar is still a very, very good card, and nobody even side decks Soul Taker outside of, Stefan himself. So it's not like you're going to have people side decking in a ton of cards that are going to make this card miss the timing. Another reason why I think this deck is pretty good right now is because it's very hard to OTK Chaos Dragons, especially when they're playing Max C, you know what I mean? Because then they can draw into their copies of Trag, they can draw into their Gores, so definitely like the defensive lineup. Another neat trick that people might not realize about this deck, Night Assailant is actually really good in this deck because you can pitch it to summon like Pulsar, and then you can get a Raikou back from your hand, so it actually like, it can end up being like a +1-ish type of thing, or you know what I mean? So I think that this deck is still pretty viable. I think that the matchup versus Wind Up can be winnable if you're running Max C's. I think that it can be a little troublesome. I think that it has a very good 6 Samurai matchup because, I mean, you don't run traps at all, and you only run 12. You only run 10 or maybe 12 spells tops. So definitely think the 6 Samurai matchup can be completely favorable. So want to know what you guys think of Chaos Dragons right now. Thank you guys for watching as always.